welcome to episode 42 of the Miracle Sports and Gambling Podcast with your hosts Tracy
and Josh.
Miracle. Today we'll be discussing. You forgot to hit the button on something else, but that's why I'm laughing. Today we'll be discussing NFL championship games that happened last Sunday, this Sunday, whatever you want to call it. Many other things as well. The Senior Bowl, the Bills off season. Maybe we'll get into the Great Washington Football Team off season as well.
Probably not, because I haven't fully covered that yet.
But lots to cover there.
There is a lot to cover there, because they're gonna get Matt Stafford, and then you're gonna be fucking scared. Why you gotta get me pissed off already this early in the show? You're gonna get me all fired up, and these fans are gonna see what I'm gonna do to you. Yeah. All right, let's start off. Bucks at Green Bay. The Bucks were getting 3. I took the Bucks. Tracy here took Green Bay. I texted him about 3 minutes into the game and told him this one was over. Shocker, I was right. 31-26. Green Bay did make a comeback in the game. Not going to take that away from them, but I mean, you're playing against the GOAT here. 3 TDs.
3 interceptions.
3 interceptions against a very good Saints defense. I mean Green Bay defense. Yeah, it's been
We've been off for a while, so bear with us.
Yeah, it's been a rough day here. But I mean, this game sort of went exactly as I thought. You know, the Bucs defense really got after Rodgers to start the game. They were bringing a lot of pressure. They just made him look uncomfortable. I feel like I know Rodgers didn't have the best day. He had a good day overall. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, 346 yards, 1 interception.
I didn't take into account one thing that I really lacked was this Bucs pass rush.
Yeah, Shaq Barrett.
That front 7, White and Barrett and all those guys.
JPP.
Sue, the huge arch rival of Aaron Rodgers.
Vita Vea was back.
Yeah, Vita Vea was back and didn't look like he missed too much of a step.
It don't even look like it looked like he gained a step, if anything.
Yeah, so that was kind of the mismatch right there, and you know, Bakhtiari being out obviously hurt the Packers a little bit, maybe a little more than I would have thought or would have liked to have thought. I obviously took the -13 on the Packers. I really thought they were going to come out strong, but I mean, Tom Brady, you know, I think this game is a little more about Aaron Rodgers. Just like you said, the stat line looks good, but he just didn't take advantage of his opportunities like he should have. The 2 picks late. He goes on a 3 and out and then punts as well. So, you know, and we'll get into it. You got anything else?
I mean,
huge controversy.
We'll hop right into it. LaFleur not going for it.
Yeah, doesn't make sense to me because if you're on the 8-yard line, with about a little over 2 minutes to go. Somewhere
in that range, I think.
So my take on it is, and everyone has different things, and a lot of people I talk to, you wanna go for the touchdown. My take on it, 8-point game on the 8-yard line with 2 minutes and whatever change left. That might be right there your best opportunity to score a touchdown.
237.
Yeah. So what you're doing there just doesn't make sense because a field goal, yes, it makes it a 5-point game. If you stop them and get the ball back and then score another touchdown, yes, you win the game. But just going for it from the 8 to me, like I said, was your guaranteed best opportunity for the rest of that game, most likely to score a touchdown. Like I'm saying, your other possession, you're probably not going to get the ball all the way down to the 8 again. So why not just go for it? Let, top 3 for sure, quarterback in the NFL, scramble, try to make a play, just fit one in there. You got probably arguably the best receiver in the game with Devontae Adams. You got a tight end who's been really good in the red zone.
I mean, they got 2 tight ends that have been pretty decent. I mean, Mercedes Lewis has been playing well too for them.
Yeah, and we'll get into it. We'll really get into it with the Bills because I know me and him had a disagreement during the game about it. But be who you are. Don't let the playoffs change who you are. Or don't let who you're playing change who you are. The Packers all year would have gone for that, most likely. And then now, they cower up and kick the field goal. And another thing, I always tell you guys, Michael Lombardi just brings up really good points all the time. On Pat McAfee podcast, he does Hammer Down. They kicked the ball deep after the field goal. And, you know, everyone just never thinks of that, and, you know, it got returned, and it's like, oh, whatever. But that's 20 to 25 valuable seconds about. You know, maybe not that much, but definitely 10 to 15 at least, where that clock's running, and that player, I think he got out to like the 35-yard line, if I'm not mistaken, and he ran the ball for Tampa Bay, the clock all the way down to like 2 minutes and 8 seconds or whatever. So it was a matter of like the 2-minute warning didn't help out Green Bay as much as it should if they would have kicked the ball to the end zone or deeper. So there's so many little things too, but I would 100% have gone for it in that situation. I think you got to.
Yeah, I mean, you got Rodgers there, you have to. I think the situation we're going to talk about with the Bills was different than that, and what I said was completely different than that.
So don't worry.
Don't try to put.
No. I'm saying I didn't say it was the same situation at all. I just said it was a field goal instead of a touchdown situation.
But I understand. You're saying be who you've been all year too.
Go get your popcorn, your instant popcorn, put it in the microwave, come back in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Let's get into this game then, since we both lost on this one, taking the Bills. That the Bills fucked me on a parlay. I put 25 to win 471. Hit everything I needed to in the first game, relying on the Bills, and you know they just shit the bed. I hope all you Bills fans, you know, had a great season. I really enjoy it. Now we get to watch the GOAT in the Super Bowl again while you guys are sitting at home. So we'll start this game off there. Kansas City wins 38-24.
He ended your season about 3 weeks ago.
The Bills. I should never been there.
Okay.
So I don't really care.
Okay.
The Bills were getting 3 points. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it ended at 2.5 though.
Yep.
At game time.
For me, this game, Josh Allen, 28 of 48. For me, wasn't really his fault. It was the offensive line. I feel like Chris Jones and Clark were just harassing them all day. They were blanketing the receivers on the back end. This Kansas City defense played a lot better than what I thought they were gonna. And then on the opposite side of the ball, the guy I told you guys that has to be stopped all week. I said stop Kelsey and you might win the game. He goes off. He was wide open all game.
Well, him and Hill went off.
Yeah, I understand that, but you can live with trying to beat one player. You can't have two guys go off against you. Travis Kelsey is the engine of this team. You have to take him away. Trey White gets paid. How much he just got a new contract for how much?
I don't even know a lot.
And that's the type of player you need him to cover. If you're going to be a number one corner and you're going to get paid like a true number one corner and be a top 5 corner in this league that everyone was arguing is the number one cornerback in the league last year, and go out there and put that type of performance against Tyreek Hill, who don't get me wrong, is top 4, top 5 receivers in the league right now, and that's just because he's so damn fast. He's not good at running routes, but he's so damn fast he can lose you in a 2x2 box for crying out loud. And I just feel like Trey White, got shitted on by Tyreek. They didn't take Travis Kelsey away. Kelsey had 13 grabs for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hill, 9 receptions, 172 yards. I mean, I'd rather live with one of them beating me than both of them, You let Travis Kelsey shit on you for 13 grabs. There was no pressure from the Bills' offensive line. I felt like our defensive line at all. They didn't put any pressure on them. To me, this was a team, like you said, they really didn't play how they've been playing all year. This was a team that played how we saw when they played Kansas City in the beginning of the season. They played not to lose. They played timid. They played to stop the big plays. And in doing so, Tyreek Hill crushed them by catching the ball short and taking off on them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about this at all. The defensive plan I didn't really like. I didn't understand. They kind of just sat back and let Mahomes have his way. You knew the Bills weren't getting there with 4. They didn't really scheme up a lot of packages to get to Mahomes at all. It was just pretty much just kind of sit back and cover, and I just hated that. You got to send a little pressure sometimes, and they didn't really switch it at all. Obviously, the Chiefs were eating them up, that 3 touchdowns in 4 minutes, whatever it was, that little span there. And the Chiefs just kind of went up and down the field and had their way. Offensively, I really do think that, and I know I'm going to sound like a homer, blah, 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 when I finish this sentence, but the receivers didn't do their job. They didn't get open. And I think a couple couple of them were banged up, and I think that's really what it came down to. Gabe Davis barely played. I think Cole Beasley, as you saw at the end of the game, is what was he playing with? A broken fibula. And that game out at the end of the game, I think he just banged up, and they really focused on Diggs and kind of took him out too. Josh Allen, this is the thing he's got to work on. And I know a lot of people might think that, what was it, 17,000 in the stands?
Yeah.
Might not make a difference, but I think he gets really riled up with fans there.
Well, like I said, he had pressure in his face too all game.
Yeah, and I think it was a really key advantage for him to not have fans at a lot of these games, because he was calm, composed, got his checks in, let the play clock run down to whatever it needed to be at before the play was ready, and I really do think that affects him, and I think it's the only thing that is going to hold him back from being premier for 10 to 15 years in this league is just the hero ball and the amplitude to just not settle into the moment. A lot of big games he's had, he just really hasn't settled in and took a breath and just played relaxed the whole game. There's been maybe one or two, but there's been more instances of him not doing that. As you talked about, offensive line play had been solid all year. Thought it was terrible, but you're going against some that's a scheme thing to me. You're going against some big boys there, Chris Jones and Frank Clark. You gotta be able to block them somehow, some way. I don't think they did good there. No run game to be had, and I still think that Singletary dropping that ball changes that game immensely. I think he's still running today. I think he scores 7 or at least gets them in field goal range for sure. It's just a bad game. It happens. Especially, I mean, you can talk shit and shit on Bills fans, whatever, but I mean, I guarantee most teams in this league, when the Chiefs are on like that and playing like that, aren't really within 14 points of them, to be honest. And that's just how much better they are. I don't know why. It's a salary cap league. It shouldn't be like that, but it just is. They just have playmakers. They have a better quarterback than pretty much every team, and they had a good defensive plan. They came to play, and Buffalo had a lapse, and it got over on them quick.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say to that. You want to jump right to this play?
At the field goal play?
Yep, before halftime?
Absolutely, because it's just not even an argument.
Alright, so 9-21. 21-9, Kansas City's on top. 2 unanswered. Buffalo is driving the ball. They started on the 25, 73 yards. There was 4:01 left on the clock. Sorry, 4 minutes. They took off the clock, not left on the clock. I apologize. There was probably 13, 14 seconds on the clock, 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, the time, that really is a huge factor.
I mean, it is a huge factor. Anyway, so him, bunch of our buddies were all watching the game together. They all wanted Buffalo to go for it. What he's gonna say is that I said that they shouldn't go for it.
Don't say what you said.
I said it's not a bad play. It's before halftime. Take your points. You're playing against the best team in the league, who you know is gonna score points.
Which literally goes against your argument.
It doesn't go against my argument, because if they go for it and don't get it, then you guys are still gonna bitch that they went for it. So they took what they thought was a guaranteed points, a 20-yard field goal, and they made it 12-21. I understand they're still down by 11, but 11 is a touchdown, extra point, and field goal.
9. You said 21-12.
Yeah, sorry, 9. Okay, so they're down by a touchdown and a field goal. And if they don't go for it, they're down by 2 scores.
Okay, but...
So, no, go ahead. What's your argument?
What we aren't talking about here, the elephant in the room, is first of all, you said it yourself, they're playing the Chiefs, who are going to score. We're scoring at will during the game. Your defense was not matching them at all, and you said you go in and coach them up, and I get that. Whatever. McDermott's usually good at that. But this offense was just rolling. The Bills had no chance of stopping them. Many people saw that throughout the game. So what we're not talking about is 21-12 being 21-16. My theory on that as well, as a Bills fan who has watched them all year against lesser opponents, against better opponents, not the Chiefs, I'm just saying, against good opponents, bad opponents, all year. You know what? They put the ball in 17's hands on the goal line. He either runs it in, throws it in, whatever. They found a way many, many times on 4th and goal to get the ball in the end zone. I've seen it over and over again this year. So why against the Chiefs, who you know it's going to be, this game, look at 38 points. It's a race to the 30s against the Chiefs. It's absolutely a race to the 30s. You know they're getting there somehow. They sleepwalk and score 30. Why are you not trying? And I know it's 4 points and it doesn't seem like that much of a difference, but it is psychologically as well. They get a touchdown there that's a different second half. I'm 100% sure about it. And I think them kicking the field goal, the game was over anyway. So if they didn't get it, I think it was over anyway.
You can't be sure about it. There's no way to be sure about it. Look at 1, 2. How many? They have 3 punts before this, 3 drives ending in punts. Now you have a drive in the red zone, you're not going to take the points. Before halftime, you still have 2 quarters to fucking play.
Josh, they were getting destroyed. They were
not
getting
getting destroyed.
Yes, they were.
12 to 21 is getting destroyed.
The fucking team was
12
getting destroyed.
12 to
The defense
21
was
is
getting killed.
Okay, so
They
you
stopped
take your
them on the
points.
first possession
You take
because Tyreek
your
Hill
points.
dropped the ball.
You take your points and you go into the locker
This
room
isn't
and try to make
1920,
changes.
bro. It's not 1920.
It doesn't have to be 1920.
You don't run the ball up the gut 3
Who
times.
said anything about running the ball?
Dude,
Did I say anything about running the
You
ball?
have to psychologically.
you're on the fucking 2-yard
Okay,
line.
and then if you don't get it, you psychologically lose right there. Either way.
Okay, exactly. You can't, that's what I'm saying. That's
No,
why
if
go
you
for
don't
it.
get it and you go for it and you don't get it, you psychologically do not stand a chance.
I mean,
You kicking that field goal tells your defense, oh shit, he still believes in us even though we're getting kicked. Maybe we need to step
we
it up.
clearly will
Now
never.
you go into halftime and you make your fucking changes, and any coach in the NFL would do.
Scroll
You
down.
make your fucking changes.
Okay, scroll down. What happened after the field goal?
It went to half.
And then what happened at half?
They kicked the field goal after the half. The Chiefs did.
They went
So-
right down the field again and kicked.
They kicked the field goal though, right? So clearly you
So
made a
just score
change.
the fucking touchdown. That's a
clearly-
1-point game.
Clearly you made it. But if you don't score the
It's a
touchdown, it's still a
1-point
2-point
You're on
game.
the 2-yard line,
It
Josh.
doesn't
Why would you
matter.
take 3 points?
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
Where
it
you-
does matter.
No, it doesn't. It's before halftime. You still
Oh
have 2
my
quarters.
God,
You
dude.
literally just proved my point. They went in the
You're
locker
proving my
room.
point. They couldn't
They
stop the
went,
Chiefs.
they went in the locker room, and they made adjustments.
Holy
They
fuck.
come out of the half, and they hold the Chiefs to a
Dude.
field goal.
Dude, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
100% is exactly what I'm saying. I didn't change anything.
I want 7 there. That's the mindset.
Okay,
7
well, you are
points is
not the coach of the team. You are
Clearly
not.
that didn't fucking work. He said he would do it over again. He would go
That's
for
good
it.
for him. I'm just telling you. You asked me what my thought was.
Exactly.
And
I have
that's my
thought,
opinion.
You have yours, and we're not going to agree. So
We're not
going
going to agree. Because you're an idiot.
Fucking Terrence, not 1940, bro.
It doesn't have to be 1940. Exactly what I said. You go into the locker room, you make your changes. You came out in the second half, and you held them to a field
So
goal
if
the
you're
first
coaching,
drive.
if you're coaching a big game, right?
Right?
Right? And say you're, I don't even know.
I just told you exactly what I'm going to
We're
do.
gonna start. Your coaching style is conservative, Carlos. That's gonna be your name.
I'm not conservative.
But anyway,
Anyone that has watched me coach, I probably take more deep shots than
Okay.
anyone with younger
okay,
kids than I should.
okay. So you've been coaching the way you've been coaching all year, right? All year you've been doing this, from week 1, week 2, week 4, week 8, week 12.
So you
week
can't
16.
do that because I already said at the start of this that they did change their identity, which is the only part I don't agree with.
Okay, that's all I want. That's
I said I don't agree with it, but what I was saying is you taking the 3, psychologically you're telling your defense you still believe in them, I feel like. You're putting up a few more points, and now you're saying we're going to come out after the half and stop them.
I get. Now this is the difference where I would agree with you. If it was past the 5, if it's on the 6, 8, 7, whatever, and you got to make a hero ball play with Josh Allen, yes. But you were on the 2-yard line. You're 2 yards away from being in a one-score game with Kansas City going into half and having momentum on your side going into half, even more than what you're saying it is, which I don't think they had the momentum.
I mean, either way, they weren't getting the ball after that. Kansas City was getting the ball.
Yes.
So I feel like, you gotta put up some points. And like I said, if you go for it and don't get it, people are calling for his head either way.
I got it. I just need, like I said, I need 7 from my team right there.
I think mentally what he was thinking, and didn't hear him say anything about it, so I'm not going to quote that he was saying, he would have done it differently if that's what you heard. I fully believe he probably did say that, or he did say that, you know what I mean? I'm just saying mentally at that point he's probably thinking, I'm in this game somewhat. Yeah, they're crushing us. Take the guaranteed points. Let's go into the half and live to fight the second half. I mean, that's what my philosophy would be there. I'm willing to bet that's probably what he thought. Like I said, neither one of us are him, so we can't really say what went through his head at that point in time. So, and I'm sure it's not just him. I'm sure, you know what I mean. Dable, I'm sure all them guys had a hand in it. So, but anyway, you got anything else you want to talk about there?
I'm good.
Well,
Good season, Buffalo, and that's about it.
well, let's hop right into it then. Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane had his interview yesterday, 11 o'clock. Some things he talked about for you Buffalo guys. They're going to go into the offseason, as most teams are, besides the 3 teams that are in your division, with salary cap issues. One thing he did say, they can't be aggressive in free agency, obviously because of the cap. They are going to look to retain guys that they have on the roster now, and they're also going to be looking to draft well. And he said, don't look for any big blockbuster deals to come from Buffalo this year. My thing is, he said straight out they're not a Super Bowl team. That was one of the things he talked about, them not being a Super Bowl team, not, you know, losing to a better team in the Chiefs off the bat. But he also said that obviously the Super Bowl is the goal, as it is with any franchise.
Right there.
And they need to be honest and take a look at their roster, is what he said, and the team as a whole, and see what they can do, and, you know, where they can fill some holes. My question, I guess, for you is, also, too, I wanted to mention, he called Tyreek Hill a unicorn, and gave Kansas City a lot of credit for how they built that team, you know. That team's been being built for, 8 years, I want to say? Buffalo's been being built for 4.
Andy Reid's been there for 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there. One of his priority focuses, he said, is going to be the ability to run the ball and keep teams honest. They are missing that dimension. And the way he made it sound is he's not putting the blame on
The running backs
at all. He said it has a lot to do with the offensive line, the tight ends, the wide receivers, because if you go back and watch the film, he said a lot of plays, you know, they were one block away from being in the end zone and it being a different story, you know what I mean, in a lot of games. So, he's saying all that. He said the D-line, you know, they had no run D, they had no pass rush. There was nothing there, really. And one of the things that he was asked about was A.J. Epineza, which I didn't know either. Did you know that they asked him to trim up before he came into camp?
No, I didn't really know that.
Yeah, they asked him to get lighter before he came into camp this year. Obviously, from the draft, they wanted him to play lighter. I think at Iowa, he was playing 30 to 40 pounds heavier than what he played this year. They asked him to trim up and come into camp. He went above and over that and actually ended up losing more weight and getting more trim than what they even wanted. And I think in the beginning of the season where we were seeing when he was a healthy scratch and not playing, that was a lot of it was, one, I think he was lacking the nutrients and shit to be aggressive and play that style of football with them guys and be that competitive. We see it with fighters a lot, you know what I mean, where they cut crazy weight to make a fight and then they go out there and look like they're dead, walking around like a zombie. But I mean, I think we've seen him come into his game towards the end of the season. I think that was just getting back healthy, you know what I mean, getting to a good weight where they wanted him at, being able to, you know, be away from where he was cutting to where now he's happy, healthy with his weight, energetic, and he can play it that way. So that was one of the things that was talked about. One thing, he said there's going to be some tough decisions this year. Matt Milano's up for a contract. Feliciano's up for a contract. Darrell Williams' contract is up. And he said there's going to be some tough decisions. The comment he made about Matt Milano is that they do want him back. You know, hopefully he wants to be here. But the thing is, he said Matt earned the right to test the market, which is the same thing he said last year for Shaq Lawson, for you Bills fans. And we all seen what happened there with Shaq. They're not going to have the money to give this guy $13 million. They're not going to be able to. I think realistically, he's a 10 to 12 million guy. And this year, what people got to take into consideration, this cap is going down. Like, I mean, not going down, but it's not moving at all. So, guys that, you know, on open market in a regular offseason that would get overpaid, I don't think you're going to see it this year. I think it's going to be a staring contest for a lot of guys in the open market. They're going to want a certain dollar amount based off of other people are getting paid, and they're just not going to be able to get paid that. You got anything back there, Jake? So I think that's going to be an issue you see, and you might even see quite a few guys not get signed this year because they don't want to take a lower dollar amount, or maybe they're going to take a lower dollar amount in a one-year deal, and then you're going to say, well, as long as you hit this, this, and this, next year we're going to pay you X amount of dollars when the cap rises. Because right now the cap has a floor of 175 and a ceiling of 195.
Well, I'll tell you, and you made some good points and brought up some topics we'll get into. A lot of people from outside of, Bills Mafia, I guess you would say, are like, oh, you need this and that. Listen, I tell them all, the Bills just have foundations that they have set in the organization that Brandon Beane believes is how you build a roster. And one of those things is defensive linemen. You don't get 4 or 5 studs. You get 7 to 8 guys. Obviously, you need good players. That's never going to not be the case. But 7 to 8 guys on a rotation. They love rotation. So you're never going to get that, first round pick for a defensive end or something like that, or who's the guy last year? Clowney. He's not going to be here. Those guys aren't going to come. So I think the defensive line isn't really going to change that much. I think Starr's going to be there.
Well, I think not to cut you off or try to take anything away from you, I think you're right, but you're very wrong. 2 things I've heard now since the offseason has begun a week ago. One from McDermott and one from Brandon Beane, both talking about they need to get pressure up front.
Yeah, they'll draft him.
They have to get pressure with their front four.
Sign him.
No, I don't see them going out and signing them, but I can see them trying to get a top end in the draft.
Yeah,
and also with that being said, Beane made a comment. He was on WGR at I think it was like 7 or 8 this morning, and Howard said, hey Brandon, you think you can text me and let me know the night of the draft if you plan on trading the pick so I don't stay up all night waiting for the pick, and then you decide to trade it when it gets there. And he said, I'm going to do something. I'm not just going to sit there. So I expect maybe to see a trade back and grab some draft capital. But if it was me, obviously I'm not a GM. I'm not, a front office guy. I'm just a guy sitting here talking about sports with people watching, hopefully. I could see them maybe trying to package a John Brown, Mitch Morse, someone like that who is going to be on your roster next year, maybe that you doesn't want them to renegotiate their contract, or someone you feel might not have as much for what they're getting paid. They're not as useful as what they're getting paid, so you might want to move on from them. John Brown with injuries, that would be one of my only really knock on him, is just injuries. Mitch Morris, I think the same thing, and I think Feliciano can play center and do it at the same level as Morris.
John Brown's not on this roster next year.
No.
Making what he's making.
And another guy I wanted to mention, Starr. I honestly don't think Starr should be on this roster next year. I don't have nothing against him sitting out. I fully understand that. When he got signed, I didn't think he was worth the money he got signed from. I think the only reason he got paid that was because he was with these guys in Carolina. And they seen him there, and obviously they like what they seen. But it's also the same thing where they did with Diggs. We've seen it now a couple times. And the Diggs trade was great. Diggs is a top 5, top 10 receiver, easy. I think that McDermott and Beane want to always take the sure thing, what they've already seen, what they know they're getting, and sometimes don't want to gamble on that draft pick. I don't see them re-signing Levi Wallace. He's a free agent, correct? I don't see Norman coming back unless it's for dirt. Just a couple things. I think that, they're going to be looking to upgrade, but I've also heard him talk about your boy that you like there, that corner. Dane
Jackson. I think Dane Jackson can outplay Levi Wallace right today if they played right now. I really do. Long, athletic, can run, just your typical zone corner. And I think that I look for him to actually start next year. I really do. And I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think they'll probably get one later in the draft. I don't think it's going to be a pressing need in the first round. Also, I do not agree with you on Starr. Just for the main fact that I know the money might not be right, but this team just got pounded up the middle. Ed Oliver is just too small. to be, a really stud D tackle. That's what this year proved to me, that he's just too small to dominate that position. He can be good, but I don't see him progressing especially in the run game.
Well, yeah, he's playing out of position there. I mean, he's a D tackle, but he needs that big guy next to him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they move on from star without having that star type player coming into the system. Like, say it's day 2 of the draft, and I'll get more into it, and say there's a D tackle that they like there, Tyler Shelvin, who I think could be very good, and Marvin Wilson, who I'll talk more about when we get into the Senior Bowl. They're a big physical defensive lineman. They're 315 to 350 pounds. And there's somebody that is faster, stronger, more energetic right now than Star Lotulelei, who you're going to get on a rookie deal. You know what I mean? So I'm saying if you can package Star with a draft pick and move away from him, or if you can cut him and know you have another guy coming in, obviously you don't know what you're getting, so that is where my concern is with them, because they don't like to really take what they don't know 100%. And I mean, kudos to them, because they're building a great franchise. They really have brought this team up. It's just something that I was looking at. And
one more thing real quick on the Milano partaking that you touched on. I think Milano's a great player. I've gotten into many of dust-ups with other Bills fans about him. I think he is maybe not the best linebacker on the team, but he is the most important, if that makes sense. I think he fills a lot of gaps that Edmonds needs work on, and I think he just helps out the defense and makes up for a lot of mistakes that other guys make throughout the game. And he's just a really good cover linebacker, and I think that's unbelievably important in this NFL. But a guy made a really good point to me, and he's not a Bills fan at all. But he just said, a lot of times defensive coaches think they're smarter than everyone else. They're the smartest guy in the room, and they think that they can draft another guy in the 5th round maybe and make him into the next Matt Milano. You know what I mean?
what?
And I don't know if that necessarily works, but
I don't disagree with you, and I don't think that's what the Bills are doing, though. I just think cap-wise,
yeah, it's just too much.
they just can't afford him, and they want to give him the option to test that open market. But that's why I was saying earlier, where it could be a staring competition, and then he might come back and play another year for eight or 9 million, and then you're okay signing him.
And not only are you worried about this year, but next year you got Josh, Tremaine, that draft class.
And then you got to figure out what you're doing there.
Yeah.
But another person that I could possibly see as a cap casualty and someone getting cut is Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
I mean,
He don't make the money. I mean, he's not a rookie.
He doesn't make the money, but I'm saying to move away, and I have it right here as a possible cut or a trade, because I think he's somebody that does maybe have some value to another team, and you might be able to package him and get a 4th round pick. You know what I mean?
He's a Dollar General of Shady McCoy. He has the moves of him, but he just doesn't have that explosiveness or the willingness to get in that hole and hit it hard.
And also, you got to look at some of the guys here that we talked about. They're going to have to move away from Dawson Knox at some point. I think Tyler Cross deals up. I don't see him getting re-signed. He barely played. I don't think they have a tight end on this roster to put them. Look at the Chiefs. Travis Kelce alone. You know what I mean?
He did want to upgrade that.
Yeah. He wants to upgrade it. And right here, you have Jonnu Smith, who's a free agent. You have Hunter Henry. Now, are they probably going to sign them guys? Probably not, because the money's not going to be right if it's not right to even re-sign Milano. I think they're more going to be looking more like a Gerald Everett. But something that popped into my head based off of what he said about sitting back in the 1st round, you know what I mean, and him not being able to sit that long and him probably making a deal. Maybe they do trade up with Carolina and send Carolina something. Carolina has a lot of needs. That's a team that is...
They're picking high, though, aren't they?
They're picking like 8 or 9, but I'm saying if you could package 30 with 2 players, now you're clearing cap space and you're moving up. Maybe they can go get a guy like Kyle Pitts. Or maybe they can trade back and get another pick and draft a guy like Brevin Jordan out of Miami. Pat I can't never pronounce his name. Fremouth or something. Fremuth. He'll be there in a second. Get one of them guys. I think they're all right there. But for me, I just want to give you guys, while we're talking about offseason stuff, NFL free agents for PFF, Pro Football Focus, top 10 guys going 1 to 10. Dak Prescott, Chris Godwin, 65 catches, 7 TDs, and was hurt for most of the games. I think he only played 7 or 8 games. If I'm not, don't quote me on that. I think it's around there. It might be quite a bit more. It could be like 10. Allen Robinson at 3. Kenny Galladay at 4. PFF rated the best tackle in the game, number 5, Trent Williams. He's a free agent next year.
Where did he play this year?
San Fran. Number 6, my guy, I don't want to lose him. Hopefully he gets re-signed. I don't see it happening. Brandon Shreve. He's been a top guard in the league now since he came out of Iowa. Number 7, someone you talked about, big impact on the Green Bay game, Shaq Barrett. Number 8, Justin Simmons. He's a stud safety. He's going to be a free agent. Number 9, Joe Tooney from the Patriots. I mean, I really think that there's a chance they re-sign him, but they tried to move away from him last year. So, and then number 10, Hunter Henry. So I mean, this free agent class, there's some big names in it. It's just how is the money going to work? I feel like for a lot of these teams, because besides the Jets, Miami, and the Patriots and the Jaguars, I mean, there's not a lot of cap. I think the Saints are 25 to 35 million in the hole already before this new cap comes in.
Oh, yeah, the Saints are fucked.
And they're not going to be able to sign anyone. And the Bills I got here, I mean, going into the draft, they got to be looking at an edge rusher, a cornerback. If you lose Milano, now you're looking at a linebacker. You probably need an offensive lineman. If you can't re-sign Williams or someone, you know what I mean, you got to bring in someone there. And possibly another running back if you're going to move on from Singletary or Moss. But listening to Bean, it doesn't sound like he's going to move on from them guys, so I'm not going to get into that too much.
You can always freshen up the offensive line too with the draft pick there. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's hop into this right here because this is going to play right into what we're talking about. Senior Bowl. Obviously, you guys know there's no scouting combine this year. Senior Bowl is allowed 10 reps down there. 10 representatives per team down there. When it comes game time, I think the Bills said they're only going to have 2 to 3 guys down there. And with this year, it's all going to be based on tape and some of the virtual pro day workout because you're not going to be able to get to every pro day that you want to see. So it's really going to be based on tape and and the Senior Bowl, I think. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit here about 2 guys, and this isn't just for the Bills. It's 2 guys that I've been hearing. Well, there's 2 guys on my list, and then there's quite a few other guys we've been hearing good things about. Mac Jones, he's somebody that his name is being spouted off like he's the next coming at the Senior Bowl. I think Mac Jones is going to be a good quarterback. I think the Senior Bowl helps a lot of them guys. I think he's somebody that don't need to be at a Senior Bowl. I think he's somebody that does not need to be at the Senior Bowl. It helped Herbert last year.
No, I'm just saying I don't agree on your take with Mac Jones.
What don't you agree with?
Just don't think he's gonna be very good.
I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be great, but from what I understood, he had some of the Patriots representatives watching him today. That's somebody that had been mentioned, and a lot of mocks were taking him at 15 there. Somebody that you guys are not going to know, and this is going to be my guy that I think made himself the most money so far at the Senior Bowl, and that's going to be Quinn Meinerz, center, out of Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yeah, me and Jake were talking about him on the.
This dude is an animal in the drill so far. Animal. Love it. Shirts tucked in, belly's out. He is going against these top guys, and he is tossing them around. Looks like a stud. He's somebody you're going to see. Is he going to go in the first round or second round? Probably not. Is he somebody you could see from the 3rd to the 5th, though? Yes. And that's a guy that probably goes undrafted if he doesn't go to the Senior Bowl. That's making money. That's putting money in your pocket. Another guy who's crushing it on one-on-ones right now, he's a D tackle, Marvin Wilson, out of Florida State University. He's somebody I think the Bills should give a real look at. He's going to be there probably in the second. He's a big physical guy, 315 pounds. He moves real well. When I watched him this year, the only thing that my knock on him really was is just his attitude. He really does get in his own head, I feel like. And once he gets fired up, he's not somebody that plays well on the field. He lets his emotion get the best of him, and you see penalties. This guy, pretty sure he was ejected twice this year. I mean,
I don't think the Bills would be interested in that thing.
But my thing is, you see a lot of guys too in the Senior Bowl. I mean,
Creed Humphreys, another
Creed-
guy from Oklahoma.
yeah, Creed Humphrey. You have
O-lineman.
Alex Leatherwood, Deontay Brown, who hasn't given up a sack in 3 years at 3 years at Alabama. He hasn't given up a sack. He's a monster of a man. You have just so many guys I feel like that maybe you don't see in this game if there was a combine this year. that's what I mean when I was trying to say that I think the Senior Bowl is going to get more exposure than it normally would. Because I don't think these are guys you see here if there's a combine. You know, Leatherwood, Brown, Creed Humphrey, he's a guy, you know.
Is the running back from UB in there?
No, I didn't see him.
I don't know if he went. I don't know if he left early or.
I didn't see him, but from what I've seen so far, his draft projection is probably going to be like the 4th, 5th round in there somewhere. His knock is he's undersized.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You got Najee Harris playing in the Senior Bowl.
Sometimes those little running backs, it helps them because they get lost.
They get lost, yeah. But you got, like I said, Najee Harris in the Senior Bowl. Why? He's a stud. You know, he knows he's going top 2 running backs. Him and Etienne are the top running backs in this class.
I've heard so many Bills fans want Etienne or Najee Harris, but I'm pounding my gavel right now, and I've gotten told that I'm crazy. He's not going to be there. The Bills won't need that. They got Isaiah McKenzie.
I'm not saying they don't need it. I just don't think the guy's going to be there. But go ahead.
What's his first name again?
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney from Florida. I watched the Florida game probably maybe week 3 or week 4 of the college season. And he just jumps off the page at you when you watch him. He's not a guy that's going to run away from you like a Tyreek Hill, but he's got that second burst, that second wind of speed. That's not even a word, is it? Burst of speed.
The second burst of speed.
Yeah.
Second gear.
Yeah, second gear. And I just love watching him play. He's making a lot of noise, turning heads at the Senior Bowl. And I just think, listen, hey, take a page out of the team that just whooped your ass in the AFC Championship game. The only way you beat speed is to get speed. And I think that they need guys like that, the McKenzies. And I look for a world where John Brown isn't on this roster, and they probably add, I guess Hodgins might be there, and then they add another speed guy and another trickster. You know, not that you need to be running trick plays left and right, but look at Mecole Hardman. He drops the punt. Well, goddamn it, Andy Reid knows his players well. Boom, he gives him the ball and he goes 50, 60 yards. The next time he touches the ball, you need guys like that. I think Mecole Hardman is actually a very more realistic comparison for what Toney could be.
Yeah, I think Hardman's a lot faster though.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
But I mean, you watch Toney's film though too. I mean, Toney is a very fast guy. I mean, he's up there. I'm just saying he's probably not as fast.
Florida fans compare him a lot to
Percy Harvin. That's what he looks like to me on film too. I think Kadarius Toney really popped on film towards the later end of the year. To be honest, once Pitts was out, he really became what I think is the focal point of that offense. This kid, you know, he does it on screens, he does it on deep balls. He's a burner. He goes up and high points the ball. His hands are very good. He's another guy though. I watch on tape. His emotions get the best of him at times. And once his emotion get the best of him, you know, you don't know what he's going to do. One game he was trying to fight the guy, he's swinging at him, gets tossed, I'm pretty sure, from that one.
And just so everyone knows, I'm not against like the whole first round running back. I'm not one of those people like that's against that idea. I do think that Harris or Etienne would definitely help the Bills offense as well. I just don't know if that's the direction they go.
Right.
Just doesn't exactly make sense, I guess, having 2 guys that were just there. You know, in the second round, each of them were picked, I believe. If not, Singletary was a 3rd round pick. I'm not 100%
Singletary
sure
was a 3rd and Moss was a 3rd.
They both were?
Yep.
So.
Obviously Devonta Smith, he's probably a top 3 pick in this draft. He's at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I'm so mad because the AFC East is.
It's gonna be loaded. Yeah,
so
it's gonna be
scary.
loaded. But 2 guys I want to talk about here that are 3. I think that the Senior Bowl is going to make some money for it. One being Nico Collins. He's a very big, very physical receiver. He opted out of Michigan this year. He's 6'4", I want to say. He's like 210, 215. Very physical, very aggressive, goes up and gets it. Obviously, we didn't get to really see that much out of him, being the style that Michigan played. They really favored Ronnie Bell for whatever reason that is. Another guy who's turning heads down there is Amari Rogers out of Clemson. Yeah, both of them, but I heard Rogers a lot more. But the other guy is Cornell Powell, as Tracy mentioned. One of my favorite guys in this Senior Bowl and in this draft class is Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State. Sure-handed receiver. He reminds me of a Robert Woods, maybe not as fast, but that's what he reminds me of, is a Robert Woods type player. Slant, you know, if you give him that outside shoulder. or the outside. He can beat you down the field with speed. He's a very, very good player, and he comes from an offense that obviously does show favoritism to their wide receivers. They got quite a few wide receivers that get drafted and don't really do anything. I don't see that with this kid. I think he's the real deal, especially when they had Hubbard, and they still featured this guy in their offense. So for me, them are just some of the guys to keep an eye on in this Senior Bowl. For you guys that have nothing going on this week, it's on Saturday. I'm pretty sure the 30th is Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Saturday. It's at noon. It's on,
I'm not sure.
I think it's on NFL Network. But just so you guys know, take a look at that. See what's coming in the league next year.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of draft talk from us. We're probably going to do a live stream for the draft, hopefully.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do a live stream. I definitely want to do every week from like after Super Bowl coverage, just pick a new team and just go through that roster and what we could see them doing, what we think fits, what we think works. We're gonna base a lot of our mock drafts that we're gonna do probably off of the position they're drafting at now, not where they could be or what they could do. It's gonna be off what we can see right now.
So, are we pretty much good with the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, I'm good with the Senior Bowl. NFL coaching vacancies, they're all locked up. I want you to rank best to worst signings for NFL coaching signings.
Alright, give me them.
You want me to give you them in the order I got? All right, you just
Yeah,
want.
go first. And I'll go.
All right. For me, number one obviously is going to be the best coach that we think everyone in the world thinks is going to be the best coach out of this class. Salah to the Jets. Dude is great. He's a player's coach. He's very fired up, very energetic. I think he knows his stuff. We saw him produce a defense that really had no one on it this year. A lot of injuries. Played great. Number two for me is going to be Urban Meyer to the Jags. First thing he said when he got there, they needed to upgrade the training facilities. That's going to be getting done. I think this is a guy that knows how to build a team. Even though we've only seen him do it in college, I think he is a guy, though, that is going to try to bring the best of the best there and try to upgrade everything there, which could be a nice attraction. Especially he's got the number one pick in the draft. He's going to go get Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that's almost 10 out of 10 locked in. So this could be a team we see on the rise, especially in the AFC South, which I feel like is a division that is on the rise, but there's a lot of turmoil down there right now. So who knows how that's going to go. For me, number three is going to be Staley. I don't really like this pick myself, but I feel like as a signing, Staley, he doesn't have to leave where he is. He doesn't have to uproot or move or anything like that. So his head already can be focused on next season and what he feels the Chargers need to do. He's a defensive guy. We've seen the Chargers struggle on defense all last year. Not able to close out games, not able to finish stuff. Obviously they're keeping their same offensive coordinator, which is one of the stipulations. Maybe that's why we've seen this guy hired and being back out. But Staley's my number three. Number four is a Western New York guy, Sirianni. For Philly, I think there is a lot of connections there. I think he is somebody that can work with Wentz. As we've seen already, Wentz once played himself into an MVP talk. Not MVP pretty much. When Frank Reich was there, this is another guy from the Frank Reich system. So for me, he's my number four. Number five, somebody I don't really know that much about, but I don't think he's worse than the other two, is going to be Arthur. For Atlanta, he was the Tennessee OC. I mean, being the Tennessee offensive coordinator, to me, that job had to be easy. Hand the ball to Derrick Henry or throw the ball up to A.J. Brown. You got anything back there?
Nope.
Number six. This might shock a lot of people. I got to be in Houston. I don't have Houston dead last. For me, this Houston move was really a move for the future. They signed Culley. He was the passing game coordinator in Baltimore. Before that, he was the quarterback coach in Buffalo. And 17 and 18, I want to say, or 16 and 17.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was while McDermott was there.
Yeah, his first year.
Yeah, his first year. So, I mean, I don't really hate this, but one stipulation that a lot of people might not know is he has Josh McCown, right? It was Josh?
Yeah.
Josh McCown as his assistant coach, and that was something that was mandated by Houston because they want to groom McCown into being their next head coach. I don't know how that really plays out. But number 7 for me, the worst signing is going to be Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, I mean, the dude came out and said we're going to bite kneecaps off. I really didn't think he was a good player. I didn't think he was a great coach, interim coach with Miami. This is a guy that, I mean, what does he excel at? What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, I'm not. I agree with your list. You know, some of those guys, you could throw around and adjust, but I'm gonna go one step further. None of those guys, other than Salah, makes it into their third year of coaching.
You don't think Urban Meyer could?
No.
With Trevor Lawrence?
I think that.
Sirianni in Philly, I think that's a good fit.
I think that a lot of those guys are being. It's not even their fault necessarily. I just feel like, first of all, there's a lot of guys that went into the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game and all those guys that they just threw away for quick hires. I think Culley. I think he's absolutely just. I mean,
He's a scapegoat.
You might as well take him to 8 Mile and throw him in an alley.
Yeah, he's the fall guy.
That's what's going on there.
I think that's the same thing with Campbell, though. They're about to transition, looking for their franchise quarterback. He's going to be the guy when it's not getting done.
Yeah, and he's just a rah-rah guy.
But I'm gonna when I ever meet Dan Campbell, I'm gonna shake his hand and say thank you for handing my Washington football team Matt Stafford, which is how this is gonna play out. I just want you guys to know we're gonna get Matt Stafford. We're gonna shit on the Cowboys. We're gonna shit on the Eagles. The Giants we're gonna kick right in the face. So I got high expectations, but continue.
Jake, how long have we been going for?
51 minutes.
Holy shit.
Yep, we're about to wrap it up. I got 3 things left here. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Big trade in the MLB. The Mets send Shit Nats, starting pitcher, to the Jays for 3 prospects.
That is not a big trade.
I mean, it's a big trade for me. I'm a Mets fan, and
you see what your boy did?
I got a buddy, Devin Abbott, who likes to tell me how the Jays have these great prospects. Now we have 3 of them. I was feeling good about that. I really didn't look any more into this
You
because
see what your owner did?
no, what do you do?
He tanked the stock market, dude.
Oh, we're not getting into that on this show.
All right. The Mets will always Met. That's for sure.
Yeah, here we go. NHL, the Pens GM resigns, non-health related. I don't know if he just don't want to go down with a sinking ship or what the deal is there. They don't look great this year, but they are playing in one of the toughest, probably the toughest division in hockey right now. And then your Sabres, they're playing well right now. I mean, if they had some goaltending, I feel like this is a team that can make a run, not towards the cup, but into the playoffs, maybe do something there. The Eichel line really hasn't gotten going yet, but they're there. We're seeing opportunities. Cousins, I really am high on Cousins. I think he looks great. 2 goals, so far to start the season. And who were they? Lazard.
Lazard looks way better. He lost a bunch of weight and he looks really good, especially offensively. But I just wanted to get into. Oh boy. Not COVID, I promise. Bless me, thank you guys.
Bless you.
I think what I wanted to get into was the NHL. Guys, hello, knock, knock, knock. BetSperts, I'm putting them in every night like it's real. I'm not doing it. I'm not using any sorcery. I'm not doing it after the games are over. I'm 26-12 in the NHL. I just put 12 games or 10 games in tonight. Something like that. I know it's past the time of a lot of these games have started, but start following me. I'll help you guys out. When someone's hot, they're hot. You gotta stay hot. So 26-12. I mean, I think that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Especially with COVID year and all the shit that's been going on. I thought I'd do good in the NHL. I thought I'd eat it up, and I have been. So get me while I'm hot because 0-5 and 0-10 is probably coming sooner rather than later. So just get a hold of that. And then right before we end the show, real quick, 42. Episode 42. What do you got, Jake?
42? Get back to me on that. I gotta think.
Okay.
Ronnie Lott.
Okay, I got.
Ronnie Lott.
The first one I actually thought of, unfortunately, was Nathan Gerby, back when he was on the Sabres. But then, obviously, the one I had after a quick second thought was, then I have to use it.
Jagger Robinson.
Monteiro Rivera.
Oh, not Jagger Robinson?
Jackie Robinson wore it, but I'm pretty sure he was the Monteiro Rivera. Whatever. I can't fucking say his first name.
Mariano?
Mariano, yes, thank you. Was the last player in the MLB that had acceptance to wear it before he got retired. But yeah, Shaggy Robinson was as well.
Was Ronnie Lott 42?
Yeah, 42. I don't know.
I think he was 42. I thought about this the other day and then I never looked it up. I'm pretty sure he was 42. If not, I'm going with Jackie Robinson anyway. Don't put me in that position.
Okay.
Who from the Knicks used to wear 42?
David Lee.
David Lee, yeah. Just to let you guys know, the merchandise is in. We got it.
All bagged up, wrapped,
Yeah.
ready to go.
Kudos
I know what's in
to
it.
kudos to Tiny Cactus for getting it, and my beautiful fiance Haley for wrapping it up. And
And 100 grand candy bars are in there, nice little theme. So hopefully we all win 100 grand tonight or sometime in the near future on this fucking. Just guys, oh my god. I mean, this like we do this and it's fun, but just wait until FanDuel gets legalized here and you can just go on your phone and just have a grand old time.
last Saturday, dude, I ran it up just sitting here betting live college basketball. I mean, I know you lost because I was just betting literally against you, but
Yeah, you're funny.
I ran it up. But we appreciate you guys for listening. Know it's been a longer one. Felt like we had a lot to cover. What do you got, Jake?
Jerome Felton.
Jerome Felton. Wow.
Really had to stand up and shout that out. But no, thank you guys. This has been your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. Have a good night.
That's it.